Okay, so I recently bought a pair of shoes at the thrift store. Very cute little sporty ballerinas, and they were quite gunky, so I decided to wash them, hand wash them very gently, but I think maybe the water was a bit too hot because they just completely disintegrated on the heel. There's this kind of coating that came off, and the sole of the shoe kind of came undone as well. That really sucked because I had just bought them. Not that they were very expensive, I just really looked forward to wearing them and styling them. I even tried finding them from new, but I couldn't Google my way to the right model. They're from, I'll put the name here. They're from this brand, and I just couldn't find this model. I think they're kind of indoor shoes, maybe like dancing shoes. It says non-marking on the bottom. I have another video on this from 2020, I think, where I talk about the sneaker industry and the environmental impact of the amount of sneakers that we produce and consume and throw out all the time. If you want more details, I would probably just watch my old video, but in summary, like, the materials that we use for sneakers are very resource demanding. We tan a lot of leather with chemicals, which pollutes the waters of the countries that we send all that work to, which leads to a shorter lifespan of the people who live and work there and live and work with these chemicals and materials, so that we can have a pair of sneakers that aren't made to be repaired in any way. So we just throw them out after maybe a year of wearing them. And I was really tired of being kind of forced into consuming footwear in that way. I love using cobblers, and this is my second time being kind of a DIY at-home cobbler, because all of the parts of the shoe are kind of there. I have gotten a different pair of shoes resold before, but it's quite difficult with sneakers because it's a whole chunk of plastic, and then, you know, it should be modular, it should be accessible to repair it yourself, but it's not. Anyway, I just really wanted to repair these, and I did. I'm going to show you on this shoe how I fixed the other one. So you can see, for comparison, it was actually pretty easy and pretty intuitive, and I think I'll just explain it and use it as voiceover for the footage. What I need for this project is fabric in the same color as the shoe, black acrylic paint and a brush, black thread and a needle, a pair of scissors, and some, like, 3 different types of glue I think I end up using. The primary target is the heel cap back here, where the coating has come off and peeled and gone wrong. I didn't want to just paint this because this area underneath here is sticky. I thought that would just peel off as well, and it wouldn't be a long-lasting solution. It would maybe be a solution if I had to wear these shoes that night. I could paint it with acrylic and move on. But I have time and I'm being thorough, so I cut up a piece of fabric at the right height, and then, because the sole had already kind of removed itself, I remove it all the way around so that I can push the fabric underneath there and tuck it in and glue it onto the sole as well, which helps secure it. And then it's a lot of fiddling around and making sure that all of the fabric kind of is laid out flat and fits the shape of the shoe. I end up folding the fabric at the part where there is a seam here anyways, so it kind of matches the original look, and also just because there is so much fabric that having a fold makes sense. At this part it is tilted, so I caught it right here and I fold it under. So any place there's an edge, I fold the fabric. And once I've kind of scooted it all into place and cut it at the right height and then folded that edge, I pull out the fabric on one side and I attach the glue. You don't attach glue. I put on the glue onto this material and then I glue down the fabric on one side, pushing all of the fabric underneath the sole, making sure all the edges are folded. Again, it's kind of fiddly, but it's not an instant reacting glue, so I have a little bit of leeway with it. And then once one side is fitted, I remove the other one and I do the same process again. Then I have a fabric covered heel cap, but it's still not finished. This is the point I get to where I want to make sure it's properly attached, not only by gluing it to the bottom of the shoe, but also by stitching it onto the mesh fabric above the heel cap. This is also going to make sure that the folded edge stays folded, and it's just going to make everything a little bit more secure and make sure it stays in place. I do that all the way around, and once I get to the slanted bit, I also sew a few stitches at the slanted bit, just making sure everything stays in place. Actually, for the sole I use a different glue than for the fabric, because I tried with the first shoe and it didn't really hold. It needs to be a pretty strong glue to hold a whole sole. Now, once it looks nice and perfectly aligned and like part of the shoe, it's kind of a weird look with the matte fabric. I could have kept it, but I decided to paint it over with black acrylic paint because acrylic paint is essentially a plastic coating. So I figured it would be an extra sealant and help make the shoe a little more weather appropriate. You never know in Denmark when there's going to be a puddle or a sudden shower of rain. So these are a summer shoe, definitely, especially with my own modifications now, but adding the acrylic I think definitely makes them more durable, and it actually also matches just the look of the shoe. The mesh fabric is matte, and then the other details, the toe cap and the heel cap were and now are shiny and reflective as well. And you don't see the striped woven pattern of this fabric I chose, which is like a pillowcase. So once the heel cap has been painted, it's time to hit these tiny little spots here where the coating also came off. Also, it's hard to see here because it's not white underneath, but the paint has peeled here as well. Yeah, there. And at the tip of the toe here. And then once all of that's done, the shoe is repaired, and that was it. And I can wear them again. So I'm really glad I didn't just throw out these shoes, and I highly encourage you to start thinking of ways to fix up your own shoes instead of buying new pairs, or investing in better quality shoes so you don't throw out a bunch of pairs or donate them, because donated shoes, if they're very worn, are probably also just going to be thrown out, or worst case scenario, they'll be sent to different African countries, especially Ghana, and they will just pollute and throw off the entire local economy down there. Again, I kind of want to reiterate a point from my other video, which is that this is not a finger whacking kind of video. I know a lot of people feel very overwhelmed that there are no right ways to consume and anything you do is unethical, but I just want to point out that there are things you can do. You can take care of the things that you own, and it's actually easier than you might think. These are all kind of household items I've used, of like contact glue, needle and thread, fabric, and acrylic paint. Like, none of those are specialist tools that you only have access to if you are a professional shoe repairsman. So I genuinely just wanted to share how good of an experience it was to repair these shoes and how surprised I was with how easy it was. And I hope that inspires you to repair something too. It doesn't have to be a pair of shoes. On my last video, someone from Spain commented, who was a professional cobbler, and complimented my work, and I was very, very proud of that. A very wholesome internet moment, I think. Alright. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day.